very collaborative that way. So I'm going to guide them through the process of like figuring it out, and I'm going to make suggestions, but I always come in with the sense that I am creating something that has to feel authentic to them and what their mission and vision is. And so, yes, I will guide them, but it needs to feel like it's something that suits them as well. So yeah, in the process, I really just sit down in an initial discovery call and chat about where they're at.
Hello, welcome to our show. It's my honor and pleasure to have my friend, Mary Jane. Mary Jane, how are you?
I'm doing really well. How about you?
I'm okay. Thank you for being my guest today and share your journey, story, and your genius. Mary Jane MJ McQueen is a dynamic and passionate graphic artist and creative design specialist based in Toronto, Ontario. With over 30 years of rich experience, Mary Jane skillfully leads MJ McQueen Creative Studio, where she specializes in creating consistent and effective print and digital collateral, as well as organizing inspired and well-planned events. Mary Jane is dedicated to not only excelling her field, but also to fostering a kinder world through her work and association, branding creativity with a purpose-driven approach. Mary Jane, I really appreciate you. We all need people like you in today's world. So the first thing is I'm curious about your journey, because we all have stories, we all have different chapters. And I wonder if you're looking back, your career shift or change, what are the turning points you experience?
Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity just to have this chat conversation with you and just to share space with you. Yeah, for me, definitely a major turning point came for me. Well, it's a number of years ago back now, by the end of 2019, I worked for 31 years in corporate marketing as a graphic designer. And then there was restructuring at the end of 2019. And then we know a few months later, it was a worldwide shutdown. So if anything, that was definitely a turning point for me. I now, it took a while to get there, but working through some self-development and sort of refocusing on me, because that's something that I hadn't really done for a long time, working in a corporate environment. I saw it as an opportunity to expand and grow and really to learn a little bit more about the social media side of things, because that was something I was very well versed in print marketing, but I hadn't really adventured into social media marketing at that point. So, I mean, that was a big turning point for me. I mean, let alone the restructuring. I mean, for approximately 2.5 years before that, I was in a situation where I was being corporately bullied. So for me, that was a big turning point. It was like the aha moment where I went, I don't need to be doing this in this environment anymore. I can do it for myself, and I can support people and work with people that I really feel connected to and that I really want to support them to get their mission and vision out there. So that's really, for me, was a major turning point. It didn't come right away because the universe was tapping me on the shoulder for a number of years before the restructuring. But I figure, I have my sense of humor is as I'm like, oh, the universe is saying, well, you're not listening to me, so you're going out the door. That was my turning point, but just sort of recognizing it. And I approach a lot of things. I like to have fun with my clients and who I'm working with. It's just because it's a much more productive environment. And so I look at these little twists and turns in life and realize that, it was a really great growth opportunity for me. And I'm really glad because now I get to work with the people I really want to work with.
I think everything has perfect timing, right? It's just sometimes we are not ready, but every time can be a turning point. Why, why? But I think eventually we're looking back and say, oh, why not? Like, it's a perfect time to do that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you are working the corporate for marketing and also create digital graphic. So you must really sensitive about color and pattern. May I ask you, when you are little kids, do you like to draw?
Yeah, I was always that wherever I went, it didn't matter if we were just going for a little day trip or just going somewhere. I always had to have I guess when I was really small, it was crayons, but then, and then it became
Mhm,
like pencil crayons and pencil because I always was drawing or coloring or
mhm,
just doodling and doing things like that. That's just the way my, I think my mind always seemed to work. Like I don't
mhm.
recall a time where I wasn't doing that, so I'm
Wow.
pretty sure that was thing. So, but yeah, that was definitely I was that kid, and I was fortunate to have the when I expressed to want to learn a little bit more about other art things, I was able to do some art courses on a Saturday morning at a local community center, and that's where I learned to paint, and that's my in the background. Yes.
Oh, wow. Hmm,
So I do acrylic painting, and
cool.
that's where I first got exposed to that, and that was eye-opening for me. It was something I really connected with right away. So, and it's
Mhm,
something that
mhm,
through life I've done, but really since I left my corporate job and I started doing my own creative studio, even though I'm doing graphic design, the other side of what I
mhm.
love to do creativity wise is
Yeah.
to paint. So I've starting to lean more back into that side of things because it brings me joy.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I can definitely see you don't care about the noise, but you just focus on the color and how to design that, and you just kind of express yourself that way.
Yes.
That is amazing, and you are actually doing something you love to do in a childhood. A lot of people want to go back to it. Just sometimes say, "Wait, I'm doing this. Like I'm serious. I'm adult. I need to do this."
I
But
need to make my
yeah, yeah, exactly. Then all the fun things are I wait until I retire or I wait. But I think universe have different timing for us sometimes. Just
Mhm.
do it now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, the human design system is really reflection tool. So I understand I feel right now like this, but I'm not always like this. Go to this esoteric system, then you understand everything is really relevant and everything's changing. So it couldn't be defined. It's just that moment, maybe someone bringing different energy, or I travel to a different place that is a different energy,
Mhm.
right? You are the energy type is called manifesting generator, which is one type of generator. I'm the generator, but I'm more the classic type. You're the expression type. So the manufacturing generator usually have a lot of force. They just want to get things done. They very vocal. They also can make things happen much faster than the classic generator because you have this the manufacturing channels in your profile. But the caveat for the faster generator, sometimes you jump into things too fast. I don't know whether in your life, sometimes you jump in something, then you got in this, why am I here for? I don't know you have any story you want to share.
Well, I don't have anything specific, but I can come up with right now, but I can definitely say that there has been situations where I've said exactly that, like, "Why am I here? How did I get here?" I've definitely had those moments for sure.
One of
Yeah.
my son is the manufacturing generator. He can be so laid back, doing nothing, like sleeping all day and have a test 2 days after.
Oh my goodness.
I have to study a long time and this manufacturing generator just put everything in and express out. I don't know whether he learned it or not, but that's the style. And so for the profile in human design, the first number 3 is indicate the personality expression. And the second one, 5, is the design side. So for profile 3, 5, like you like to try things. The 3, you are the changer. You want to explore. You want to take adventure. You want to change. Like you don't want to stay in the same old, same old. That's how maybe you love the design job because every project is
Exactly.
different. You just excited. So that's the 3, your personality side. But the 5 is very cool because we need a lot of 5 people in the society. What the line 5 people, they are the practical solution providers. They solve problems. And they also, it automatically people will put them into the leadership. So like even you don't really want to do it, but when you walk in somewhere, people will just, oh, Mary Jane got the solution. So they're coming to ask you for direction, instruction, anything, even from a younger age. So I don't know, you knock your head like that. Did you feel like that when you even go to shopping or someone will come to you, where is the restroom? Where is that? Did you have
People
that
yeah.
experience?
Oh, definitely. I'm just laughing because it is amusing. It's like people automatically, I don't know what it is. It's like I can be anywhere and people
Mm,
automatically ask me questions like either for
mm,
direction or something. It's like I just say I must appear to be approachable or something because it's like they will bypass like 5 other people and suddenly they'll just be in front of
mm,
me asking me a question. I'm thinking, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." But yes, and even in the corporate, environment,
mm.
because I had had a long tenure there, there was a lot of information I had stored here. So
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
because I was approachable and because people knew that if I knew the answer, I would help them to guide them, and if I didn't know, I would find out because
Mm,
that's just me. And obviously,
yeah,
what you
yeah.
just described sounds, yes, very familiar.
For me, the more and more I understand the energy imprinting, our environment, our lifestyle, and our own divine energy design create an environment for our biology to respond to it. And when we have that chemistry, physics, and biology kind of intertwine in our existence, then we create certain vibration. And we are all vibes, right? We can sense people's
Yeah.
emotion. We know we are in the same wavelengths. So automatically people just vibrate with you. Oh, Mary Jane know the answer. Let's go find. It's just like above the in the physical things, this is a field. That's the people we tap into it. People say you have to be authentic, but I think, well, how did you define that? Like, did you tune into the environment without awareness? So you become violent, you reactive, but you're authentic. But your personality may be a loving, kind person, but if you put it in a different environment, what did I just say? What did I just did? Right? But it's not us. It's just the energy trigger and we doing something. You have a particular channel and the centers that define a different way. That's how we distinguish from other people. And one thing I see it jumping out to me is your head and agina. That is the conceptual center. So that means you have a very solid and consistent flow in your head, and you will create things without interruptions. Not like somebody like me, I have an open head. I have to wait for my inspiration, what I'm going to do. So when you have that consistent flow, we all have doubts. So you got more of the realization time, like you have to make sense, rationalize.
Mm. Yes.
I don't know whether you want to share anything particular.
As much as it's funny because as much as I can be the person like we were talking about where I can, jump into things and wonder, how did it get here? And there's the other side of me where I sit back and then I will probably get too much into my head and overanalyze the what ifs, right? What if this happens?
Mm,
What if this happens? I have sometimes it's an interesting balance as much as, like I said today, to jump into things. Sometimes,
mhm,
there's
mhm,
also the other side of me, the practical side of me that sort of wants to step back and go and sort of take in and understand a little bit more. Because for
mhm,
me,
mhm,
um, when I'm in, like if I'm, having self-doubt or kind of wondering whether I'm doing the right thing, I need to sometimes take that step back and just say,
mhm.
hey, let's see, what
Yes.
does this all mean and learn a little bit more and understand a little bit more because then I feel more confident in understanding how I did get where I got to.
I think we can, through our observations throughout life, we start to see things. Yeah. I can do that in 20, but I'm 40 something. I don't need to do that anymore, right? So we can
Exactly.
shift in a different phase and have a different behavior. That is the natural evolution we experience from different
Yes.
phases. A lot of things we don't know.
When I was 8 years old, and so
Mm.
7 going on 8 years old, and so my mom um, moved from our small town, which was a big step for her. I don't know why that happened,
Mhm.
like why she chose to do that, but we moved to a big city pretty far away from our small town. And so that was a really I think that was a really defining moment for me in the sense that
Mhm.
for many reasons, but for just the simple fact the matter was it was just like, wow, look at this. Like where that same thing and where am I?
Mm.
Right. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
and I
yeah.
think that's something that's sort of continued in my life. So as much I love to experience new places and things and people, I guess in the sense that when I'm there, I'm very to taking in the whole experience. Like,
Yeah,
love to
yes.
have that
Mhm,
energy
mhm.
come in and feel the energy of wherever it is that I
Places
am.
or people. Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, they can be overwhelming. That's how we learn to understand ourselves, right? When we have different shifts, we have different sensations and experiences, then we sometimes depends on how we label it. Sometimes we label it as challenges. Sometimes we think that's opportunity. Changing your reality really can become embodiment. Design side can have a chance to pop out. You don't know where did that come from? But it turned out. So I wonder there's another things relate to your art creation. So when you are create a project for your clients, how did you get the inspiration? Did you interview them or how you create what they want?
Yeah. So I mean, in most of my recent projects and clients that I've been working with, I've been doing a lot with brand and logo development.
Mhm.
A lot of solopreneurs, small business entrepreneurs that have amazing missions and visions, but maybe don't know how to get that out in a visual sense. And so
Mhm.
it's quite interesting, I love working with people. I always say I'm the lock arms, kind of like, hey, let's link arms together and we'll figure this out together. I'm very
Mhm.
collaborative that way. I'm going to guide them through the process of figuring it out, and I'm going to make suggestions, but I always come in with the sense that I am creating something that has to feel authentic to them and
Mhm.
what their mission and vision is. And so, yes, I will guide them, but it needs to feel like it's something that suits them as well. So, yeah, in the process, I really just sit down in an initial discovery call and chat about where they're at. A lot of my clients have come in the sense where there's so much noise bombarding all of
Mhm.
us that have small businesses and stuff all the time. Like, oh, you need to do this. So you should do this. You must be doing this. You
Mhm.
have to do this. And it's all coming like,
Yeah.
and so a lot of them are coming with an extreme sense of overwhelm
Mm.
because they don't know where to begin. So for me,
Uh-huh.
it's just like, okay, first of all, we're gonna cut out all the noise. I'm like,
Mm.
okay, do you have a logo and brand? Like when some of them have something that's sort of existing and they kind of like, but they might need
Yeah.
tweaking. And there's some that don't have anything at all. I'm like,
Mm.
okay, well, that's where we're going to start because that is the foundation for everything. Because my
Mhm.
analogy to them is
Mhm.
there is no sense to building walls of the house until the foundation is actually put in place because
Yes.
the
It's
walls
solid.
up.
Like, okay.
So I said, that's the basis of everything that you're gonna do, be
Mhm.
it a
Mhm.
website, your social media, print marketing, whatever it is their business happens to demand as part of their business.
Mhm.
So it's just walking them through that process and listening. That's one thing I
Ah.
have. It sounds like I'm bragging, but I do have a pretty decent skill of listening and sort of taking in what it is
Mhm.
that they're, sharing about their business and kind of where they want to go.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
I say I give them homework. I give them a little bit of homework, some questions just to open up their mind to sort of think
Yes.
more broadly about what it is
Mhm.
that they're looking for. And
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
the fun part of the process for me, I love seeing is asking them to pull. maybe 10, maybe 15 images or logos or pictures from vacations or something that really, not just surface stuff, but stuff that really resonates with them, something that where they look at
Mm.
and it makes them go, "Oh," like they really have a sense of connectedness to it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And they send those things to me, and I put them together in sort of like a vision board sort of way.
Mm.
Because a lot of people are saying, "Well, I think I'm all over the map. I don't really know. I like all sorts of things. I like colors. I like this, whatever." But when I put it into the vision board, and I love to see the realization on their faces when they
Mm.
look at the vision board and think, "Oh," because they don't realize it's like when I hone in on what it is that think that there
Mhm.
are there's common things in everything that they've sent. They don't necessarily see it that way, but when they see it focused, it's like, "Oh, oh, maybe I'm not all over the map like I thought I was," because and I love to see that little it's not like, that little light
Yeah,
bulb,
the light bulb come out. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they look, "Oh." And that's a good starting point because then
Mm.
you're, like, really focused in on the things that you really feel good to you, the things that make you stop and think, "Oh, I really like this." That's what you should bring into your brand because that's the brand is
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. When they have the higher vibration to associate their personal branding or the design, I think the sparks, those inner sparks just blank start to light up. And I so appreciate someone like you has a really solid listening skill and also going to the design part versus all this a lot of website, you just put it in there, they create it and then they say they look at okay, but there's no feeling. If you don't have a feeling with your website, no one will have the feeling with that.
Absolutely.
Right. We're gonna shift the gear to the gene keys. I know you're curious about gene keys, so let me just give highlights here.
Okay.
The human design system has four esoteric. Your gene keys, the two of them. The hexagram, that's the Chinese I Ching, the book of changes, like a 6 different line yin yang combination. Then the second tree of life, or the Hebrew Kabbalah. So, but put this into the gene keys, give us spiritual genetic code. Like they are all within us, but we need to go through it, live through our experience in order to unlock all the keys. There's a three different sequences. The first one is called activation sequence. That is to define our primary gifts, this amazing talent. But usually we think that's the doing part. You have to do more in order to polish the skill. But the doing and being can be harmonized. So you can be perfectly doing something because you got more mind, right? But sometimes you have to align with what you love to do, right? Then we start to aware we have different side of the talent. And the second is called Venus. Venus sequence gives us opportunity to visit our childhoods. There's 7 years, very critical. The first 7 years that we observe something, we just follow everybody doing the same thing to fit in with where we grow up from, right? Then the second 7 years, a teenager year. So from 7 to 14, you start to have a puberty, you start to have hormone triggers, you want to have a boundary, right? I want to rebel, you want to say no, I'm teenagers. But you have some kind of strategy, but not necessarily good for an adult. And the other one is more intellectual. So 14 to 21, you start to value your self-worth and the value, the impacts, comparison. So the Venus sequence is really just called to revisit, let go, and understand we don't need to do that anymore. We are not 7 years old. We are not 14. So then we got opportunity to see ourselves differently once we release all the trap emotions. And the last one is that one we want to talk about. Once we really know the talents between the doing and being and release all the trap emotions or memory we don't even know we have, then we can serve others. The Pearl sequence have four different spheres. One is called vocation, one is called culture, then your personal branding. That used to be the life work for the activation sequence, but now because you polish everything, you already clean up. So you become your personal branding. I mean, the
Mhm.
personal brand is really the combination with everything. The pearl sphere is the quantum structure, the middle one. So that is the structure of the pearl sequence. With your permission, can I go ahead to share your
Yeah,
pearl
yeah,
sequence?
please, yeah.
The vocation, that's the declaration. You want to do this, you want to create different impact. The gene key has different spectral the consciousness. So based on the Kabbalah, that we all just like drop into this negativity to start with. So then we know the contrast, so we can go to different place. So you're 19, and on the low vibration for that vocation, it's called codependency. We always think we need to have A before we can go B. So the linear thinking is a codependency, but they also provide us security. The codependency is your low vibration, but that your role actually implementation strategies for people. So that's your role in your business. You do need clients. Then you collaborate together and provide them the support and the strategy for them to grow, right? But potentially you start to understand the boundary, the sensitivity. That's your gift. Because then you couldn't give all. They have to do their part.
Right.
So then the sensitivity for you, you're still providing a strategy because you're number 5. Plus, like, they're going to ask you anyway. But at the time you become more sensitive, say, okay, maybe I shouldn't let them to do that yet. They have to go through the process. So that's your vocation. Then when you start to grow and have more clients, then your culture will show up. The cultural sphere is the structure of your business. So in this case, the cultural key is 12 and the line is 2. Line 1 is the individual. Line 2 is a partnership. Line 3 is the units like family, business. Line 4 is a network. 5 is the society, global society. 6 is the system, like you are not even there, but system run themselves.
Mhm.
So the structure is supposed to be partnership because you invite them to be your client, then you share the insights all together. And the 12th, in the low vibration, is the one everybody has it. It's very difficult to ditch. It's called vanity. You're shifting from the vanity to discrimination, then to purity. That is the spectrum. But if you think about discrimination, again, that is actually boundary setting, right? You can discriminate. So this is, I can help, but this is their journey. They have to help that part. So in that way, it's the collaborations. Your personal branding key is 21, line is 3. When you're low vibration in 21, you feel safe about what's going on. You need to map out a process first. That's because you got this solid head. You need to have data. But the control is just the starting point. In the end, it's called Valor, VALOR. You shifted from control, but you become an authority, but then you don't see yourself as different than others. You just play different role because you know better than them. But at least it's just a collaboration, it's a partnership. So that's why I see your pearl sequence.
It makes sense, and it kind of speaks to how I was saying how I even work with my clients is
Mhm.
that, yes, I may know the way to guide them,
Yeah.
but I am the person that I want them to also recognize it for themselves. So that's why I bring them in. We work collaboratively together and I guide them through the process, but I want them to see for it to be so they understand. I always say that I can tell you this, you need to do this, and this. But if it doesn't feel right for what feels good for you, it's it doesn't work, right? So, like, for people to be able to see and sort of, like, as you said, sort of have a spark of, like, "Oh," the spark of understanding, it's helped to make people feel well, 1, you feel included in the process,
Mhm.
and 2, it feels more authentic to who you are. So
Yeah.
it's without even knowing it, that's kind of how I've developed my skill in working with, like, project managing and stuff like that, and working with clients now in my own business. I've kind of set it up that way without actually realizing
Well, because you
how
follow your
time.
heart, you just knowing that's a natural way to do it. You feel good, have fun. And
Yes.
so we all know, we all have guidance. We just need to trust in a way, slow down and play with it. I really think this whole ancient system is the tools our ancestors passed down and want us to know you're not alone. You're loved. You provide. Just trust that. Then have some fun. Now, if you don't like it, you can always change. I have a so much fun conversation with you, Mary Jane. I wonder if people want to get more of your genius about design and content creation strategies. What is the best way they can find you?
I mean, probably the simplest and easiest way to find me is it's mjmcqueencreativestudio.com. And they can sort of see the types of things that I have done. Of course, I've done many more, and the website isn't going to encompass everything, but definitely they can feel free to reach out to me, by email or by social media, and just connect and have a chat. That for me is the most important thing. It's just to have fun and to bring some element of play into what we're doing, because I mean there's enough serious things happening in the world and day to day, and for me I just think once you bring in that element of fun and play into whatever you're doing, even if it's your work, it opens the mind. For me, it opens up the mind and people relax into something rather than feeling very, like, frozen and scared and whatever.
And the most precious I can see is you really connect people's heart. You want them to try. You want them to be something they already are. Right? They just don't believe themselves.
That gives me that brings me the greatest joy is when
Hmm.
people recognize
Yes.
that in themselves.
So I'm really happy to have you here. Want to share your definition about prosperity.
It's interesting. So, I mean, obviously, most people think when they think prosperity, just they think about the financial side of things. For me, it's just bringing more kindness, empathy, and compassion into the people that I'm working with, and spreading it and letting that ripple out into the world. That's my underlying mission and vision for whatever I do, whether it's working for clients or just in day-to-day interactions with people. And so for me, prosperity is to have a wonderful, supportive community and just seeing other people succeed and grow beyond their expectations. That for me is prosperity.
Yeah. Such a great place to be. Think about everybody to support one another, in the same community. You like to draw, you like to sing, let's just create things together. Like
Yes.
if the environment don't need money, like all the wildlife we see, they don't pay rents. They have food. They have shelter. They have friends.
Yes.
But anyway, it's just human make it so complicated sometimes. But I understand we need to do something more complicated in a way. But if
Yes.
we can just go to that center place, the heart space, we are all fully connected.
Yes.
So yeah. Thank you for being here, Mary Jane, and best wish with everything you do. Continue to shine through and support others. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
See you around, Mary Jane.
See you soon.
Bye.